investigate the multiple appointments being held by some Nigerians and the unlawful payments of emoluments to them in those capacities. The House notes that there are some senior public and civil servants holding more than one public office at the same time and are receiving emoluments and benefits of such offices in contravention of Sections 6 and 8 of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act, Cap 15, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, an action that corrupts public morality. Concerned that too much money is being spent to maintain public officials to the extent that about 70% of the nation's yearly budget is allocated for recurrent expenditure to the detriment of other developmental projects. Convinced that there is need to put an end to the illegal and unjust enrichment of such individuals with public funds to the detriment of millions of other Nigerians, especially at this period of dwindling resources as a result of the fall in the price of oil. Also convinced that stopping the practice of public officials holding multiple appointments and earning emoluments therefrom would help in reducing the recurrent expenditure of the government and curb this act of corruption. The House resolves to mandate the Committee on Public Service Matters to conduct investigation to determine the number of Nigerians currently holding more than one public office and are receiving emoluments and benefits from such offices in the ministries, departments, and agencies, and report back to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker. I will rather say this motion is actually a delegated motion of this very House. We could recall early in the day in this assembly, Mr. Speaker, with his wisdom, brought the legislative agenda. And one of the resolutions in there is to find ways of reducing the cost of governance. Mr. Speaker, I happen to know there are certain individuals, some by an act of the Parliament, who are holding double appointments. Some, because of their privileged positions very close to the government, they find themselves in more than 1 or 2 boards and are acting as And Mr. Speaker, the usual practice is that wherever they find themselves in these positions they are holding, they drive benefits, including cars, driven vehicles, all the other salaries and allowances. And Mr. Speaker, at this material time that we need to conserve, we need to reduce the cost of governance, I believe if we identify such appointment and then pay attention so that we reduce that double payment of the emoluments. The Code of Conduct Act, Section 6, Mr. Speaker, if I may read, prohibits any individual from enjoying double salary or double emolument as long as he is operating in Nigeria. And specifically, with your leave, I will read Section 6, which says restrictions on specified officers. Without prejudice to the generality of Section 5 of this Act, a public officer shall not, A, receive or be paid the emolument of any public office at the same time as he receives or is paid the emoluments of any other public office. And Mr. Speaker, this is very clear and direct, and I believe if we can go along in implementing these particular provisions of the law, we will reduce substantially some of the overhead costs that we are carrying. And I believe what we are celebrating now, that we have upped the capital expenditure to 30% this budget 2006, maybe by next year, we will up it by 40 or 50%. Mr. Speaker, some of the double appointments are unavoidable because they are creation of the law. For instance, under Section 6.1 of the CBN Act, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, the CBN Governor, the Deputy Governor of the CBN are all members of the Board of the Directors of the CBN. And what to ask is, are they also enjoying all the emoluments in these two positions? This is what we need to cross-check. My experience is yes. Also, the River Basin Development Authority Act, you have 11 river basins, and in them, the minister or ministry is represented in each of these boards. So there are about 11 staff of Ministry of Water Resources who are actually working in other boards. And are they also getting salaries as other board members are getting? We need to find out this. Also, with Shader Science, Technology and Complex, there are lists of all other ministries, agriculture, defense, health, power, steel, who should have representation on the board. And we need to know what salary emoluments are being enjoyed by them. Mr. Speaker, we need to change our attitude of governance. And if we can achieve this, I am very sure substantially we will reduce the cost of governance, and by the grace of God, we will improve our capital expenditure. By so this, I urge this House to support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
He is just being worried by the emoluments. Where the problem is the issue of even the overheads. Most of them enjoy a lot of privileges from where they are having multiple responsibilities. Guest houses are reserved for them, cars, travels, and many other things. And they go in hundreds of millions, sir. Secondly, sir, another issue which he has not raised is that it's not only the Committee on Management Services to look at it. If we see the responsibility of the Committee of Governmental Affairs, by being a privilege to be in that committee, we have found out that, and in other committees, that there is what they call service-wide votes. Sir, a lot of repetitions in the budget of other ministries are convoluted within that one. And I will give one example. I am privileged to be a member of the Housing Committee, as well as privileged to be a member of the Governmental Affairs Committee. And we found out that an amount of 3 billion was allocated for the renovation of 23 federal secretariats in the Ministry of Housing, while almost the same amount is being voted in the office of the Secretary to the government under the service-wide votes. And I had to even prove it with, when we are having the joint committee with the senators. I photocopied and showed them a lot of repetitions. And similar, all these appointments are being taken by the office of the Secretary to the government.
So those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.